I wasn't expecting the movie to be so exciting, but this was a very riveting experience done very well. She said, New York Times reporters Megan Twohey and Jodie Cantor break one of the most important stories in a generation. A story that helped ignite a movement and shatter decades of silence around the subject of sexual assault in Hollywood. So if I've got to describe my experience with this movie in a sentence or phrase, I would say that this movie is very much a sleeper. It's really riveting. It's really exciting. And I think it does a great job of showcasing as to what investigative journalists can do and what good they can do to the world. So let me jump in right away to what I really enjoyed about She Said. I found the story's pacing to be extremely consistent and really fast paced. This movie is on the longer side. 2 hours plus to me is a longer movie. It doesn't feel like a 2 hour plus movie at all. In fact, it feels more so like an hour and a half because it constantly pushes on the gas pedal and doesn't really stop. You're immediately introduced to Megan Twohey and Jodie Cantor. You immediately start getting invested into their story. They start questioning witnesses. They start questioning certain subjects within the story that they're trying to write, and it's always compelling. Every single conversation they have is really intense. It's really unpredictable. It's really exciting. The movie does a really great job at executing upon the fact that these witnesses might be in danger. These reporters might be in danger for trying to tell this story. And to me, that just elevated the stakes of the movie, made the pacing a lot more exciting, and just made the entire experience a lot more robust. And I gotta give mad props to this movie for taking what would seem like a really mundane task of just interviewing witnesses, interviewing subjects, and writing a story, and turning it into something extremely exciting. Because on the surface, and based on the marketing of this movie, honestly, it didn't really look to be all that fun. And that's what movies are supposed to be. They're supposed to be fun experiences, or at least experiences that are supposed to get your mind turning. This movie definitely accomplishes that goal. I use the term fun kind of loosely here, just stick with me on that, but you get the idea. Additionally, I really appreciated the movie's ability to convey information about journalism in general. Like, I walked into this movie knowing just a little bit about journalism, and I walked out of it learning a ton. Things like keeping witnesses confidential, keeping their subjects confidential, when to publish, when not to publish, some of the ethics that go into journalism. I thought this movie kind of walked through those really succinctly in a way that was really easy to understand. And when you throw all those elements into a movie and you can also make that really exciting, I walked out of it having learned something and took pleasure in learning said things. I never felt like it was a drag for the movie to convey that information to me, which really made the experience all that much more exciting. It didn't compromise that fast cadence that I talked about a little bit earlier, which is all the more impressive because, like I said, a lot of these subjects on their surface seem really dry, and this movie finds a way to make them work. And additionally, I thought the acting across the board in this movie was exceptional. The standouts for me were, of course, in our leads between Carey Mulligan and Zoe Kazan as Megan Twohey and also Jodie Cantor. You spend most of the screen time, if not almost all the screen time, really with these two characters, and if they didn't perform well, it of course would have compromised the movie. However, they stick the landing so well and so consistently. And even the supporting cast I really enjoyed, especially Andre Braugher, who plays, I guess, their chief editor, I believe is his title. For those of you who don't know who Andre Braugher is, if you've seen Brooklyn Nine-Nine, he is chief, and he plays a really serious role here and does exceptional in that as well. And I think he really added some really great pieces to the puzzle. And I'll give another shout here to Patricia Clarkson, who also plays as another pivotal character in this movie. I thought she really was a nice supplement to the writing team really in this film. One of the things that you'll find is that when these journalists are working on a story, it's not just the two journalists. They've got like a whole team working with them. It's one of the things to learn about in journalism as you watch this movie. So let me shift over into what I didn't really enjoy about this movie. I found myself being a little bit confused as the story started to progress that Megan Twohey and Jodie Cantor were writing throughout the movie. The movie is trying to convey the story from its inception all the way to its publishment. And within that, some of the details get a little fuzzy as to what they have to do, what they have to accomplish in order to get the story out. I know that they need to question people. I know that they need to get witnesses. I know they need to get people on the record, but I think there are some ingredients in there that could have been conveyed a little bit more clearly. There are sometimes I was kind of asking myself the question, why are we here? Why are they doing this? And I think that the movie kind of just forgot to either mention it or they didn't communicate it clearly enough. And it can lose you for a little bit of a chunk of the movie, which it won't get you completely lost, but you'll feel like you're kind of missing something, which is never really a great thing for a movie to do. If you're losing your audience, that's a pretty big red flag. But it doesn't go into an egregious level here. And additionally, I think this movie had a bit of an identity crisis. And what I mean by that is I don't think that this film quite knew what it wanted to be. Did it want to be more so of the breaking of the story of the Harvey Weinstein case with sexual harassment in Hollywood, or did it want to be a more of a biographical story about Jodie Cantor and Megan Twohey? There were elements of a little bit of both. However, I would say it was more so on the side of the story itself rather than the reporters. However, I think this movie could have been just cut down a little bit shorter if they less focused on the backstory of the reporters. By them including both, I think it just kind of sent it a bit of a contradictory message about what the film wanted to be, and I think that just kind of wasted a little bit of time. It's not to say that I wasn't interested in the backstory of Megan Twohey and Jodie Cantor. However, I just think the movie jumped back a little back and forth, and I think it just suffered with the experience a little bit. Were there some fascinating elements in the exploration of Megan Twohey and Jodie Cantor as people? Absolutely. Did it land every single time, and did it slow down the film? Your mileage will vary on that. People have convicting opinions about it. I just like it when a movie's a little bit more consistent in what it's trying to accomplish. So friends, in the end, if I'm going to give this movie a score, I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. I thought this was a great and riveting experience, and don't sleep on this one. Go see it. You're going to walk out of this one on the edge of your seat, having learned a little bit and have a greater appreciation for really investigative journalism in general, and that's always a good thing. Friends, thank you so much for watching another movie review. If you like this or thought it was helpful, I'd be honored if you consider clicking the like button, clicking these end cards up above, or the links down in the description below for your viewing pleasure. Once again, I've been Bryson. Until next time, have a great day.